No, what's really interesting is the names of the months here.
Yeah, they're old style.
Yeah, they're like, totally.
Because, yeah, I've never seen those before. All right, so I don't have a mock-up either, so I'm just going to talk. So, ubiquity and our plans for it. The idea, of course, is not that we are going to write commands for everything you want to do on the internet. The idea is that the internet is going to write commands for everything you want to do on the internet. So, as the core Ubiquity developers, our job is to make it easy for command developers and to extend the boundaries of what's possible. And so we've got a lot of pretty exciting stuff coming up. The release, the next release that's coming up, that's 0.1.2, which was going to be today, but we ran into some bugs. Might be tomorrow, might not. What it does is move all of the built-in commands to a pre-subscribed feed, so that when you, for those who aren't familiar, Ubiquity has this subscription model. So if you go to a page with third-party commands on it, you get an offer to subscribe to them. And what we're going to do is we're going to move all the built-in commands to a feed too, a Mozilla-supported secure feed that's pre-subscribed and trusted. And the win that gets us is that we can then update our commands, fixing bugs in them, adding features to them, etc., without making people download a new version of Ubiquity every time. So we'll be able to keep the built-in stuff much better updated. After that, we have 0.1.3, already a lot of work done on that, which is going to be a big improvement to the parser. If you've played with the current Ubiquity parser, you know that it's kind of dumb. Like, if you type the word calendar, it doesn't actually suggest add to calendar because it's only matching things that start with what you typed. And so we are moving to implementing a more awesome bar-like behavior where it'll match smarter, where it will rank suggestions better, where it'll have memory of which completions you've chosen before. And also where the suggestion list can be updated asynchronously, meaning if you go out, if you have, say, a web service that you're using that produces suggestions based on your input, and that might take some time to do that network call, that's going to be happening asynchronously. So you can now write a command that uses that, and you'll see a little spinny thing to let you know, hey, there might be more suggestions coming, and then poof, one will pop into your list as soon as the network returns it. At the same time, I'm working on the localization, internationalization stuff. I'm working on a blog post about that right now, but obviously we really need to make it easy for community members to translate Ubiquity into their own language. And I mean, I have had a lot of people on our support forums ask about this and ask about if there's any way they can start doing it. Like, we've got all these people who are really eager to start working on the German version and whatever. And aside from the translation of the actual commands and the command documentation itself, which is really easy to parallelize, the stuff that has to be done in core is it needs to be possible to plug in a different language behavior. Like, for instance, Japanese does not use spaces when written, which means a parser that depends on splitting the input on spaces is going nowhere fast. So we have to have a pluggable architecture there. And then the idea is that these people over here can be making new commands, these people here can be extending the core parser to deal with new languages, and all of that parallel effort will combine with each other in a very nice way. So the language stuff. Then the next thing is, not content to have the commands and the language parser be pluggable, we are going to make the interface pluggable as well. So in 0.2, we're looking at ways to have people, looking at ways to make it easy for people to write a new interface that goes on top of the Ubiquity core. There's already 2 interfaces to it. They use exactly the same core and exactly the same command set. One of them is the hotkey type stuff in interface, but the other one, which not many people know about yet, because it was put in as kind of an afterthought and it's not very good, is the right-click context menu interface. That if you select something and right-click, you'll see a menu suggesting all the commands that could operate on that selection. So there's already 2 interfaces. We want to throw that wide open to community innovation to come up with more. So if somebody, would rather have an interface that works more like Quicksilver on the Mac, they could write that themselves.
Great.
And then share it back with the community.
Wow.
And so that's going to be the big thing for 0.2. Meanwhile, sort of in parallel with that, we're starting to look at getting Ubiquity into Thunderbird. Last week, was that just last week? Really? Oh, it seems like so long ago. We were in Toronto. I met some students at Seneca and at the University of Toronto who said, hey, we want to, for our student project for this semester, we want to port Ubiquity into Thunderbird. And I'm like, wow, what a great idea. So I started a mailing list. I started giving them some homework to get them started. And we're going to be having a weekly phone meeting. And I haven't been, in the role of mentor to college student projects before. This is a new thing for me. So we'll see how it goes. But I know from, having been a grad student not too long ago that it's really easy to get excited about some idea at the beginning of the semester and then procrastinate about it the whole semester and then panic at the end. So I want to make sure that I'm kind of cracking the whip over them and make sure they're, doing something each week and have something to turn in and share with the group so that they don't put it all off to the last minute. Anyway, Ubiquity and Thunderbird is going to be real exciting because if you have both of them installed, you could be in Firefox, hit an email command, and it executes in Thunderbird. You could be in Thunderbird, hit a web search command on some selection in your email, it executes in Firefox. Both of them could provide sources of data for auto-completion and suggestions to the other one. So your Thunderbird address book could be providing the completions for person information when you use any command in either program that could use that information. And so we're going to be looking at creating some IPC mechanisms between Ubiquity Thunderbird and Ubiquity Firefox. And we're also going to be looking at what commands would be useful for sorting and searching through your email. And I think that having that kind of open innovation going on by making it really easy to create new commands for dealing with your email, which, from the personal experience of myself and everybody I talk to, is becoming a bigger and bigger problem in our everyday internet lives. Is like, even after I filtered out the spam, I'm getting about an email every 10 seconds, and how can I possibly deal with them all? And we need better tools for it. And so by making it really, really easy for somebody to write a new command for dealing with their email and then sharing it with others, we can maybe provide a real good competitive advantage for Thunderbird to become something that, a lot of people I know don't use Thunderbird because they're really happy with webmail. But if we start making all of these new commands possible in Thunderbird that are not possible in webmail applications, it could be an advantage to get more people to start looking at using Thunderbird again. I'm talking from personal experience here. Part of the goal for this project for me is to want to wean myself off of Gmail and go to using Thunderbird, which, by the way, in version 3 that's coming out real soon is going to have a search bar based interface where you type stuff into the search bar and it filters your email as you type. And so that could be an integration point for Ubiquity, the same way as we were talking before about putting it into the awesome bar of Firefox. We can put it into the search bar of Thunderbird. And I think that's a pretty exciting possibility.
Great.
So yeah, those are our plans